guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's John and I like old cars. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I've got my 49 Chev here that I thought we'd talk about what I've been doing. So this is the 49 Chev. Last video we primed it. We actually put a lot of primer on there. Last I counted, I literally did probably 8 layers of primer just because I had it lying around. Didn't want to go to waste. And so what I've been doing is I've been sanding. I've been coming in nice and early in the mornings around 5, and I'll sand for say 2.5 hours, and then work starts. And then I might stay back later tonight, do a bit more sanding. But it's such a huge roof and physically a large car, the 49 Chev, that like you really have to like stand on the sills and like get in there. And so it's actually taken a lot longer than I thought it would. So what I've done is I started off on 400 grit, but I realized that that was going to take way too long. So I've used 100 just to knock off that sort of orange peel. And then I've gone 100 and to get it really nice and smooth. But even then, I've still burnt through to some bare metal where there was a little bit of a dimple. That's something I'm going to have to tap up and sort it all out, re-prime it, re-sand it. It just takes time. This is arguably one of the longest, probably the longest parts of a project, you know, to do all the body work, to get it nice, you know. It's such a large roof that you really want to get it nice and smooth and not ripply, because you'll see it. And that extra 15 minutes that you should have spent on there, you know, you'll be kicking yourself. You can just see how much high fill primer is coming off that. So like if you look at the sort of silhouette there of the roof, it's now getting a lot straighter than what it was if you go back to the last video. And it's the same deal with everything around here. Like it's pretty rough, you know. Some parts are really rough, but once you sanded 400 grit, which will be my finishing sandpaper, and I'm happy with that. Some people go up to 600 or 800. I don't find that necessary. 400 all the way around, make sure everything's smooth and I'm happy with it. And then I'm just gonna paint the whole lot and you know, go from there. It's still gonna be a massive job after this because I don't have half the parts, half of them need to be rejuvenated. I've got to get these seats reupholstered, but I'll do that in my time, you know, like it's not a big deal. I've got no rush. I'm not going for summer nats or anything like that. But me being me, I don't know, I've got to tell you, I'm going to treat this as like a thing where I'll be completely honest to you guys about, you know, what I'm trying to do and who I am. This is a sickness. Half the guys that I know in the car scene, they have the same amount, if not more. I know a bloke that's got 50 cars. He's got a couple Ford Coupes and Holden HQs and everything like that. He's out in the countryside, but I'm tipping that a large portion of my audience may be in a similar boat to me, where why not just have one? Why not just focus on one car? But you want it all, you know? So I think that's probably a situation I've got myself into. So why don't we find out what I've just bought. I hire out the spray booth, and many of you guys know that, and I come across many cool cars, you know, like pretty much every weekend we're still hiring out the booth to all the guys getting everything done, and that's been phenomenal. I've met some really cool guys in the industry, but the byproduct of all of that is I see really cool cars and then I want really cool cars. Me being me, you know, if I had to buy just one car that was like mint, it'd cost you $50,000 to $100,000. I don't have that kind of money. And so what tends to happen with me is that, and will happen with some of you guys, is that you be on Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, Craigslist if you're in the US, you know, eBay, and you do a rotation all the way through, and then until you find something that you like, and then sometimes you find something you go, oh, I have to have it. Anyway, so I think I've probably bought the worst 1963 Impala there is in Australia, maybe even the US. Feast your eyes on this bad boy.
Yeah, that's one fine looking
63 Chevrolet Impala.
Why doesn't mine look like that? Ah!
I've got another rust bucket, you know, a lowrider or whatever you might call it, sort of thing. So it's rusty, but it's reasonably solid. There's some rust here. I don't know, these cars really have a cult following, especially a 64 Impala. 62, 63, 64, they're all really well known. They're loved throughout the whole universe. People low ride them and put hydraulics, so really make them an art piece. I'm not saying that this is going to be an art piece because you've just got so much work to do, but the price was right. Did the deal, called the guy, got the dopamine receptors flowing a little bit. Again, I don't drink or do anything funny anymore. Oh, I never did, I suppose. But you know, here it is. It got delivered last night in the pouring rain, so this is the first time I'm actually looking at it. So, you know, if you look closely, you can almost hear the dopamine receptors firing away. We're gonna go for a bit of a walk around the car. I'm gonna talk really quickly because there's probably a lot to go through. So it's 1963, it's 4-door. Not that exciting in the United States because most of the guys there have 2 doors. It's a 4-door, Australian delivered, right-hand drive, so it's good for our roads. You can see straight away the guard, that needs to be replaced. You know, that's just absolute rubbish. Tires don't have any air in it. The roof's pretty solid, that's just all surface rust, but you can feel the grain. I was almost just hoping that I could just spray wet on wet primer and then spray it with color, but maybe not. I love this. I've been there and done that a million times over. Lucky I'm still somewhat of a young man that I don't mind this sort of stuff, but you know, people like my parents would say, what have you done? You know, this is just another shit box that you've got, you know, and I am doing shit box rally next year, so. It's got the steering column in there, it's got miscellaneous parts, it's got some remnants of a seat, a fuel tank, it's got the inner guards from the front. We'll open the bonnet in just a second, but I wonder whether the floor is rusty, and knowing my luck, it probably is, but imagine if it wasn't. Ooh, that'd be so good. Headliner, it's got the rails, but pretty much nothing else. Doesn't even have the dash. Yeah, I mean, a lot's missing from it, but hey, the price is right. It was only a couple grand. Don't tell my wife, she doesn't know. That doesn't even close. There you go. There's really not many other parts, and I can see some fiberglass, and I know what that's from. That'd be from the boot. Doors seem reasonably okay. I haven't looked underneath for the bottoms, but they feel all right. I mean, I just need to sandblast it probably. Let's go over here and let's have a look. This will be the worst part, 100%. This is going to be terrible. Ready? Come a bit closer. Feast your eyes on what you see in here. Yeah, so there's no boot at all. Have a laugh at that. Oh man, this is going to be a big job. You can get all of that like as a replacement, so it's actually not that bad. Guys in the US and guys in Australia that have this car, why don't you drop a comment below and show some love and show some support for what I've done. I've done myself a mischief, I reckon. The more I look at it, this rear quarter's got something sus going on with it. Like, it's sort of solid up here, but down below, it's a bit how you're going. But all those panels can be bought. They're the same with the US cars as they are with Aussie cars. A bit of rust coming through there. If I bog it, no one will tell. No one will know, will they? You guys know. Dopamine receptors aren't firing as much. You know, it might be time to buy another one. But the rear quarter over here is a bit more honest. Everything looks okay. There's a bit of bog work here. There's like fresh metal. Oh man. Apparently the sills are pretty good. I can see in the door over here. There's a bit of rust. Rails look okay-ish. Yeah, no, they actually look pretty good. Rust in the pillar. Let's have a look underneath the bonnet and check out the big block Chev. Oh, right, we've got no hinges. Yeah, the big block Chev. Oh, no block Chev. Well, it's about what you expect. That seems all sort of like bolted in place, sort of. A lot of rust. A lot of rust. And that's fucking heavy. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. I sound down about it, but really, like, I'm excited. Can you tell? Like, I don't know what it is. You guys need to let me know what it is about car guys and that continually drown themselves in more and more projects, you know. I'm not saying this is a cry for help. I'm perfectly happy with where I'm at in life. I'm talking about the guys that have like 15, 20, 30 projects. A couple of them have been finished, you know, sort of thing. It might be time to have like a bit of an AA meeting where everybody's like sitting around in a circle and we go one by one. And you don't like, oh, here's one, ready? Here we go. Sit around in a circle, go one by one, and each person has to introduce themselves, their name, how many cars they have, and what cars they are, and they have to rattle them all off in one go. And if you can't do that, then you know that you have to go to another circle, like the real addicts. Because if you can't remember how many cars you've got or what cars they are, then there's probably a real problem with that. So I'm borderline. I've got a reasonable memory, so it's not so bad.
How many cars do you have, John?
I think I've got 9 or 10. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. It's always fun to like talk about the new shit boxes that I've got. So, you know, now it just comes down to actually working on them. Anyway, we'll leave that for another episode. Take it easy, guys. Man, they really went to town on the fiberglass. I've seen all this before. It was the VC Valiant. It was an absolute nightmare. Like the floor was just like exactly like this. So, some free steel, some aluminium. Lucky scrap prices are on the increase because everything's so expensive. So, you know, I'm sure Sims will give me a couple of dollars for that.